Barnes, Leslie, Jimmy, Crash, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Englund. Welcome to the Morning X. Oh, oh, wait, I'm sorry, Freddy Krueger.
Yes, that's Mr. Krueger to you.
Yeah, Mr. Krueger. Talk about a man who has made a career. My friend, you must be just loaded on. You have pages and pages and pages of resumes. And I'm curious, did you create that character, or was that something you got and then just took it from there and ran?
Well, I mean, I kind of ran with it, but, I've got to, really give a nod to Wes Craven, because 95% of the success of this is based on this original concept of his, how he described the character and the sort of backstory that goes along with it. It's almost like a Wes Craven Bible that we sort of all have to, adhere to. There's these rules of the nightmare and the mythology of Elm Street that we sort of can't stray too far from. But, over the years, I've sort of, been allowed to really kind of physicalize him the way I like. And I think that a lot of the fans, especially the young ones, they sort of relate to the silhouette of Freddy, with the hat and the glove and the posture. So I kind of take credit for that.
Yeah, I didn't know if Wes had come to you as, already having this character maybe on some kind of circuit, whether it was in those haunted houses in your neck of the woods or whatever, or if he came to you and said, I have this role, you'd be great for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was weird. I think they originally wanted a big giant stunt guy, like the guy we have playing the new Jason.
Right.
In Freddy versus Jason. But I went in there, and I don't know whether the casting director, who had seen me do other things and had put me in her office before, sort of stuck up for me after I left, or whether it was because I usually like to talk a lot, and I kept my big mouth shut, and just sort of played staring games with Wes on the interview. So that may have had something to do.
Well, that was a good day for you, because it went on to do you very well.
Yeah.
You've been doing that character for a number of years. Is the makeup any more comfortable now than it was when you first started?
Well, when I did this last one, we shot up in Canada, and I thought, hey, we got the new technology, with the makeup now, it's going to be even easier to put on. And what happened was, the stunts that I can still really do well are the water stunts, because I'm an old surfer, so we have a lot of stuff in the water, both underneath the water and on top of the water in this film, because I have to go to Jason's turf, Camp Crystal Lake. And so for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the shoot, the makeup crew was trying to get the right ratio of glue, the medical adhesive that they use to put the prosthetic pieces on me. They wanted to put extra on me because they didn't want me to leak when I was in the lake. They didn't want me to look like a water balloon. And they used this colostomy bag, medical adhesive, all over me. But they used too much for the first couple of weeks, so they couldn't get it off. So they would be scrubbing and scrubbing every day after we shot. And by the second or third week, my skin was raw. So this is actually the roughest shoot I've ever had to do, because I was putting the glue on raw skin for about 2 months after that.
Here's a question about the whole line of the Freddy Krueger movies. Are they planning, or is this just Hollywood gossip, about doing a Freddy prequel to the days back before you were burned?
I've heard that rumor too, and I heard Wes was involved for a while, but then I heard that wasn't true. What I understand is there is really a great script going around. I don't know if New Line's going to do it. I don't even know if New Line has optioned it, but I've heard there is a terrific script called, I think it's called Elm Street, the First Murders or the First Kills, something like that. And it would be all about what really happened back there before the sort of parents took vigilante justice into their own hands and torched poor little Freddy Krueger.
How much blood did you use for the new movie?
Well, this isn't my quote, but Ronnie Yu, we had a Hong Kong director on this, Ronnie Yu, who did Bride of Chucky, which is also a lot of fun. A couple of years ago, I was in France, and I was on a film jury with John Landis and the guy that directed Amelie and Alien 4, and we saw Bride of Chucky, and actually, awarded Ronnie Yu an award, one of the awards at the film festival. But Ronnie brings the perfect sensibility to this thing, and he said, I don't want buckets of blood, I want barrels of blood.
Yes.
So he is unapologetic. He knows he's doing a horror movie, and he's delivering the goods.
Robert, a lot of times in a movie, it can be as simple as one scene, one shot that is the difference between a movie getting one rating and another rating. Talk about maybe a scene or even just a shot that you've shot or experienced in the past where it had to be cut out because the Motion Picture Ratings Association or whatever thought that shot would give you too strict a rating.
Well, there was a fantasy sequence in I think it's Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, the one Chuck Russell directed. He went on to do The Mask with Jim Carrey, and there's a guy that has a sort of he has a sexual fantasy in that, and I think it's a nurse, and she's the beautiful nursey fantasy. The subject of many an R-rated film.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Nurse and the Sailor. Anyway, and so what they did was they had a girl, and they did the Freddy makeup on this girl, and then I sort of morphed into her, and then she became nude. Freddy's scar tissue literally kind of went down her neck and out onto one. I guess we can say this, one breast. And it was really a strange look, but it also was. It might have not been even the sexual content that got the scene cut. It also was. It almost looked like a deformed limb or something that way. It's very grotesque, almost like something you'd see in a medical textbook. So that may have been why they cut that.
Freddie, Robert, in your biggest heyday in the mid '80s,
yes.
like in the biggest Nightmare on Elm Street mania, what did you get for an appearance to go in full makeup to anywhere?
But I didn't do that a lot.
Did you ever?
I've done it to promote the videos when they first came out.
Right.
I went to Las Vegas, and they never quite got the lighting right. So Freddy, doesn't look as good as he should look under fluorescent lighting.
The Freddy versus Jason, I think that's a long time in the making. Do you think anything like maybe a Predator versus Alien? Do you think this could be a new craze in movies, pitting two evils together?
It's not so much a new craze as an old craze returning.
Right.
If you remember, this started back with Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
Right, like King Kong and Godzilla stuff.
All the great classic comic books, have superheroes combining forces or arch villains, uniting. And I think what we've done is sort of taken that great old idea, that sort of male adolescent. What if, man? Do you think the alien could take the Predator? What if Michael Myers threw down with Chucky? What would happen?
Yeah.
And we've taken that sort of teenage fan, hypothetical, and we've sort of reinvented it, and it's a new hybrid.
Do they still use like shredded foam rubber in the blood to simulate brains and stuff?
They use all sorts of stuff. The stuff they use the most is called methicillin, and it thickens the thick blood. But I've seen them put stuff from the butcher shop in there.
Yeah.
Oh, the real deal.
Yucky, yeah. And after about 10 hours on the set, that gets pretty ripe.
Well, thanks, Robert.
All right, thanks, guys.
The best of the Morning X. 99X.